Thank you for watching the Whittemore Community Magazine's Hour of Power Live on Facebook with your host Edward McQueen and April Garner.
Brother Edward.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Good evening. Good evening. Oh, man. Hey, this is a glorious day. I couldn't wait for this day to happen. After listening to the results of our scholars that are scheduled to be on there with us, April.
Mm-hmm.
This is a special day. I was hoping and praying that it goes well, and what else can I say? But anyway, we want to welcome our audience to our program today, and let you know that what you will be seeing is are the results of some hard work and some very talented young people, youth from our immediate community, and they have a lot to show what they've done. Okay, believe me, when we promoted it that way, we meant exactly everything what we said there. Okay, so just want to start off by just letting we had. I could give you a preview. I mean, an overview of the people who were involved, in all of the participants and so forth. But I just want to start off by thanking all of the mentors and the mentees, and I just want to call these mentors names just to let the audience know that they were very creative and start from the beginning. And I got to confess, I had some little doubts about since the summer job program did not go into fruition, and but I'll tell you, these mentors did wonders. And don't even talk about the mentees. Our mentors, just let me say there. April, I'll start by April. Ms. Marjorie McIver, Ms. Jenna R. Falk, Joella McQueen, Dana Hannah Sands. I'm sorry, Hannah, if you listen. My apologies. It's because I don't see you there. Okay, and of course, representing Bucksport all the way over there, Miss Marlo Frazier. So I want to welcome everybody to the program, especially our viewers. And I just wanted to say, just as an introduction,
Brother Edward, there's a major echo going on. Brother Edward, there's a major, yeah.
I'm understanding that there's an echo that's going on.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it there anymore?
Are you near Sister Joella? If so, that's probably why it's echoing.
Okay. All right. Okay.
You want to remove her from the stream?
Okay. I'll remove her.
Yeah. Okay. So while they're working on that, I'm going to go ahead and just continue with what Brother Edward was saying. This is a great night, and we have some wonderful young people that we want to showcase. But before we do all of that, I thought we had her muted. I'm sorry. But before we do that, I just want to allow our mentors to introduce themselves really quick, and then, just kind of talk a little bit about, we'll have Hannah to talk a little bit about why the book Ghost Boys was chosen for this particular summer literacy initiative. So let's kind of go around the clock. We'll start at the top right with Miss Marjorie.
Oh, okay. I'm Marjorie McIver. And I got involved in this after having been a part of a Coakley family reunion. And I found out that my daughter Hannah had introduced some books to the young people, the boys and girls in our family. And one of those books was Ghost Boys. And as I asked about that book, and she shared what the book was about, and I talked to a couple of them who had read the book, I thought that would be an ideal book to use in light of the times that we are living in. And the book came to fruition through the involvement of 35 young people. There were 25 young people from the ages of 13 through 17, and there were 10 in the age group of 8 to 12. And after having worked with these other coordinators, everything really was pulled together and came to fruition, and the project came to a completion. So I just want to take this opportunity to thank the participants for their active involvement and the parents who were so supportive of this effort. And it was just a beautiful, beautiful merging of, I'm going to call it generations. It was like an intergenerational approach with my presence. So again, I want to thank all of you.
Awesome. And then, of course, Hannah, we want to give you the opportunity to, talk a little bit about the book. Why was this book chosen for the summer program?
Well, let me begin by saying hello, everybody. My name is Hannah McIver Sands. I am a native of Conway, South Carolina, but I currently reside with my family in Rock Hill, South Carolina. And as my mom alluded to how the ball got rolling, her wheels were still turning on what she could do with this book for the community. So like I was telling the mentees, even at my age, when your parents say, I need you to do something and you're voluntold to do it, you do it. So she brought me in, knowing that literacy is my passion. My youngest son was introduced to this book at a Scholastic book fair, and we read the book together. And it was just so poignant because it touched on so many of the issues that we were facing as a community. So the book was a springboard for conversations within our household. And as my mom alluded to, when our family got together to see what we could do within our family to, work with the kids in our family on literacy and connecting it with the societal issues that are going on, this was a book that came up in our conversation. And so it was a book that the young kids in our family enjoyed, the young boys in our family enjoyed. So when my mom got the idea to bring this to light for the community, and she asked me to jump on board along with the other mentors that are represented today, I couldn't say no. So being able to develop activities for the students and just to see everything come together is a blessing. By career choice, I'm a literacy coach. So this was something that was right up my alley, just to see how we could tie in all of those aspects of literacy and connect it to things that are really prevalent and relevant to the issues that are going on today. So it has been a blessing to be a part of this. And hats off and kudos to all of the mentees and all of the efforts that you put into it, and to the parents who allowed their students to have choice in the activities and to help them to see it through to the end. We thank you, thank you, thank you.
Absolutely. And I think all of us agreed that we never could have done it without that book choice. And it was definitely an appropriate choice for an appropriate time in American history and for all the things that were going on in society. So thank you, Hannah. And we definitely look forward to the next book choice. Yeah. And I know that you have to go. You have another meeting or something that you have to get.
Yes.
Yeah, so just want to give you that opportunity to explain how it was selected. But thank you so much for everything that you did to support the program.
It was my pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you all for letting me be a part. It really helped to connect me back to my community, even though I am miles away.
Well, I'm sure you'll be voluntold to do plenty more in the future.
I'm sure. I'm sure. All right.
All right.
Everybody stay safe.
Bye-bye. All right. Bye-bye. Brother Edward, you fixed up now? Are you good to go? You're muted.
Muted.
Okay, I got you. Yeah. Okay, now go ahead. Yeah, you're good now.
Good. Yeah, but I just want to say a little bit further. You know how much I really appreciate what the mentors have been doing, and it seems like everybody had this unique role, even though it was done as a group. But you just did some marvelous things. So I just want to thank you so much. So you just gave the purpose and of the book and so forth. But I would like to ask, and we don't have to talk about it in an extensive way right now, but I look at this as such a success that we should all explore the option of continuing with this, like early next year, January, February, something like that, and just keep it going. Build on what we have, and who knows what may come out of this. So having said that, I just want to thank everybody, and especially equally, especially our mentees and our I'm going to call them scholars, okay? But based on the things that they did, it's just magnificent. So, and our viewers, if you just bear with us and just check out some of these presentations, and you will be in awe. Trust me, I think you'll be in awe.
Okay, all right. So Marlo, I don't know if you're muted or not, but yeah, you were instrumental as far as the digital guidance for the program. Why don't you just tell everybody who you are and just talk a little bit about what you feel about the experience.
Good evening, everyone. I was also voluntold by Ms. MacGyver, and my role with the project was technology. By trade, I'm a technology and information specialist, software specialist, and I'm also an educator with the graphic design and technology program at the Academy for Technology and Academics. This project was just amazing. The students did a wonderful job, as you're going to see when they do their presentations in a little while. The book, it just was so enlightening. It was incredible. It was a personal, it was a wonderful choice. It was so great. The project was so great that just went with it, bought a whole bunch of books, distributed throughout the community. I mean, to this day, when we were just having a conversation yesterday and said, oh, we got to order some more books. And I've just been passing it along because it's such an easy read. It brings everything in a full circle. It touches everybody, no matter what background you're from or, your upbringing. The whole nine is very enlightening. So I would suggest anybody to pick up Ghost Boys and share it. But it was a wonderful, and I was so proud of the use of technology and innovation that the students did, the mentees did. Sitting there just greeting and just looking at them, and they just shine all over it with the use of the technology. So that was my role, is the technology piece. And working with these ladies, it was just incredible. We just got together, we met, everybody did their role, we mentored these mentees, like they, and they called us, text us. So it was a wonderful project. So I want to thank you guys for this opportunity. And
this was an excellent demonstration of unity and organizing and coordinating between the mentors.
All right. Well, we're going to get to our mentees in just a moment. Brother Elwood, I was hoping that Sister Joella would be brought back into the stream so that she could, also be introduced.
Yeah,
and
you're going to be introduced, right? You're going to be
So can you make it happen in like 60 seconds? Because we're on a tight schedule.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, we're done with this portion of the segment. We just wanted to introduce everyone to the mentors, and then we got to move on because, of course, the kids have their marching orders and to when we're going to exit and enter the stream, since we have so many and so much to do. So I thank all of you for being here. Are there any parting words before we start to bring the kids in?
Well, thank everybody, and thank you, the community, and wonderful. I'm just so pleased.
Okay.
And I too want to thank everybody, and especially you, April, for, bearing with this 5 weeks, every Saturday. And that was, from the beginning of September, August, I'm sorry, and going into September, and then still trying to bring this to closure. So again, April, thank you, and the sponsorship from the Whittemore Magazine, we certainly appreciate that as well.
Absolutely. All
Okay,
right.
so
Okay. Well,
goodbye.
thank you. All right. Goodbye.
I'll
Goodbye,
join
everybody.
you. I'll join you on YouTube.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Okay, I'm getting
All
off.
right. Okay. All right. Awesome. So now we are bringing into the stream. Hey guys, how are you? Hey, y'all can unmute your mics.
We're great. How are you?
Good. We're great.
We're
How are you doing
good.
tonight? Yeah. Okay. If you're muted, please unmute your mics. First of all, I'm really excited to have you all here. You're looking really good. You're looking fresh. Were you looking forward to this tonight?
Yes, very
Yes, ma'am.
You were? You
Yes,
were looking
ma'am.
forward to it? Awesome. Awesome. And I think we have one more joining us in just a minute. And then we'll get, there they are. Okay. Hey, Madison. Hey, Morgan. How are you? All right. Awesome. So, of course, this is just a small segment. We actually have 2 groups that are going to kind of stream in and out tonight and talk about Ghost Boys. And also we're going to showcase some of their projects. And when I tell you that these children are definitely our future, I mean, we have future leaders of America, of the world, sitting right here in front of us. And the insight that they had regarding the social issues that were prevalent in the book and discussed through projects and other types of conversations that we had, it's just incredible for their age group. So what I want to do is kind of go around really quick, and I want each of them to say their name, what city they're from, or if you want to rep your school, you can rep your school. And then I want you to give the audience your age so that so that they know who you are and what type of intelligence we're dealing with at such a young age. So we'll start with Mariah and Malia.
Hi, I'm Mariah Floyd. I am 13 years old. I go to Conway Elementary School, and I'm from Conway, South Carolina.
And my name's Malia Floyd, and I'm 9 years old, and I go to Conway Elementary, and I'm from Conway, South Carolina.
Hi, my name is Desmond Porterfield. I am 14 years old and I go to Carolina Forest High School.
Hi, my name is Destiny Porterfield. I am 14 years old. I go to Blackwater Middle School and I live in Conway, South Carolina.
Awesome. I can't hear you, Draper. Okay. Yeah. Try it again. Okay, we'll come back to you, Draper. Let's go into the middle.
Hi, my name is Elia Muhammad. I'm from Conway Elementary, and I am 10 years old.
Okay.
Hey, I'm Layla Bromell. I'm 14, and I go to Loris High School.
Awesome. Madison and Morgan?
Hi, I'm Madison. I go to Maxwell High School. And
We can't hear you.
Hi,
You may need to get a little closer to the microphone or use headphones. We can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
We can't hear you.
No.
All right, well, y'all fix that. We'll go to Draper real quick. Okay, Draper?
Undo the Bluetooth.
Hi, Draper, can you hear me? Okay, let's come back to Madison and Morgan.
Can you hear us now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Hi, I'm Madison. I'm from Waccamaw High School and I'm 16 years old. I'm Morgan. I also attend Waccamaw High School and I'm also 16 years old.
All right, awesome. So it's after Draper fixes his audio, we'll hear from him in just a moment as well. But okay, so we all for 5 weeks studied the book Ghost Boys, and all of you did what was called a culminating project, which was basically a collection of your thoughts and your feelings and just everything you learned as we studied the book, and you created a final project, correct? All right. So before
Yes.
we get into the projects, because I'm going to show like a little snippet of everybody's project, what were some of the feelings that you all had as you read the book? And, how did it connect to society as far as things that were happening today? So Mariah, Malia, do you guys want to go first?
Sure. Honestly, I was hurt because it's terrible that we have to go through this and children have to grow up in this and see their people getting shot and killed because of anything. Nothing really.
Okay. All right. So what were some of the themes that we were dealing with in the book? Do you all remember?
Like bullying
Mm-hmm.
and
Racial profiling.
Racial profiling, bullying,
police brutality.
Racism.
racism, inequality. There was a lot of different themes, and they're all social themes, correct?
Yes.
As far as social issues, exactly. So your job basically was to read the book, to have conversations with your family and your friends, and just to kind of take in the information, and then from there to create a series of projects. So will one of you explain to our audience some of the things that you had to do before you actually made your final project?
I'll say what I had to do for my project. So for my project, I used video apps, had to find pictures, had to find videos, had to put them together, and I had to edit them. And that was really about it.
Okay. And so these projects, they were all about your thoughts and your feelings. So as you were pulling together your thoughts and your feelings, what were some of the things that you all were asked to do?
We were asked to put in input about how we feel about things that are going on right now, and that's really it. And put in your intake.
Exactly. Now, listen, we all prep for this, so I don't want everybody to be quiet tonight. Okay, I know that you guys can talk. You're used to talking and having this conversation, so let's all get engaged in what we're talking about tonight. And I definitely need the older ones to lead the younger ones. Don't let the younger ones outshine you tonight. Okay. So as you were putting together your projects and dealing with some of the themes, what were some of the things that you thought about as far as how it relates to you all today? Let's talk about bullying for just a second. Have any of you experienced bullying, or have you seen it happening or seen it in action? If so, that was one of the things that was in the book. So what were some of your thoughts as you read the story and thought about what was happening with the characters Jerome and Carlos?
You could really connect. It was like, sometimes when you're reading, it's like you don't understand, you don't connect to the book, but it's like with this book, you could really understand and connect to it.
Mm-hmm. Madison and Morgan?
I thought while reading, it was very visual and I could picture everything. And a theme that I took away was to just always stand up for what you believe in and what you know it's right in any situation.
Absolutely. How about you, Desmond and Destiny?
My thoughts were that even though that they were being bullied, you still have to, watch out for bullying, stand up for what you believe in, stand up for yourself and for others.
Mm-hmm. And that's important. Stand up for others, especially. Exactly. Because a lot of times bullying happens and we know it's happening, but we don't say anything about it. And so, some of your projects, were kind of visual representations of what you could do if you see bullying happening or you're experiencing bullying yourself, right? All right. So we were dealing with also the issues that were happening as far as, currently in America. There was the Breonna Taylor situation. There was the George Floyd situation. There was so much that's been happening in the past few months. And so there was definitely a theme in the book that addressed that as well. So as we think about the sort of, moving towards the end of that story, what was the one thing that Sarah decided that she wanted to do in order to make an impact on society and even within her family or community in order to change what was happening? What was one of the things that Sarah wanted to do?
She wanted to create a movement so that like everybody can help, no matter the race of their skin.
Exactly. So that everyone could help with the situations or what was going on. So I'm going to play a little bit of everyone's projects, and then we're going to show you to our viewing audience what these wonderful scholars, as Brother Edward mentioned or calls them, what they put together as their culminating projects for this particular initiative. And then we're going to get some final remarks from them, and then we're going to move on to group number 2. So we're going to start with Miss Layla Brumel. Now, one thing that is amazing about Layla is that she did pull together a couple of different talents in order to create her project. And I'm happy to say that she's actually working with me and the network as my youth intern. So Layla, thank you so much for the help that you're giving me. And also thank you for putting together a beautiful project. All these projects were beautiful. And so we just want to feature some so that everyone can see the work that was done.
One day, when the glory comes, it will be ours. It will be ours. Oh, one day, when the fight is won, and we will be sure. We will be sure. Oh, glory.
The Inside Scoop. Black woman shot and killed in her own home. Tatiana Jefferson. Miss Jefferson was shot and killed in her home in Miami, Florida. Officer Aaron Dean, shown below, shot her through the window in front of her nephew. The officer resigned and was later charged with murder. Now the war is not over. Victory isn't won, and we'll fight on to the finish. And when it's all done, we'll cry glory, oh glory, oh glory. We'll cry glory, oh glory, oh glory. One day, when the glory comes, it will be ours. It will be ours. Oh, one day, when the war is won, we will be sure. We will be sure. Oh, glory.
Good job, Layla. Very good job. And Mariah smiling. That was an excellent job. Yeah. And so as you were making that video, just real quick, what were some of the thoughts that, what were some of the things you were feeling that made you want to do a video like this?
I wanted to put as much as I could. So that's why I did. You see the video of George Floyd, pictures, protest pictures, protest videos. I just wanted to put as much as I could in one thing.
All right. And so whenever we were all working on our projects, I know that a lot of the conversations you had were leading to what type of message you wanted to send out to the world. So what was the main message that you wanted the world to know just from reading or watching your video?
I wanted everybody to know that the problems we face are everywhere. It's not just one particular place. It's everywhere. Outside, at school, even at home. Like I said, it's not one particular place. I just want everybody to know that the problems we face are really broad and at large, and it shouldn't be that way. We should be safe when we walk out.
Absolutely. All right. I'm going to show Mariah's project. Hi, Mariah, your project was on the Orangeburg Massacre, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So as I'm pulling this up on the screen, why don't you tell me why you decided to do a project like this?
I decided to do a project on the Orangeburg Massacre because it related a lot to the Ghost Boys book, but the Orangeburg Massacre was a little different. The policeman, it was resulting into police brutality. 3 Black boys were killed at a college, or that went to college at SC State University, South Carolina State University, and it just wasn't right at all. And it was for the police officer to kill Jerome in the book. So it just related a lot.
It related a lot to that. Okay. So what's the message that you want to send out with your project?
I want to say that we need peace in this world. Like Layla said earlier, we should not have to go out and be scared, be fearful that something could happen. We should be able to be safe.
Absolutely. And you did a wonderful project, a great depiction of what happened during the Orangeburg Massacre in 1968. It took a lot of research, and you pulled together a wonderful project to, display what you want people to remember as far as what happened in history, because we must not forget that, these types of things happen, and not that long ago. And I mean, this was just 2 years before I was actually born. So, if we aren't careful, we're bound to repeat history if we don't remember the things from the past. All right. You did a very good job on that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. And so, Elia, how are you tonight? Elia?
Good.
All right. Okay. So, Elia, I want to show your project for the evening, and I want you to tell everyone what inspired you to actually create this project. So while I'm pulling it up, why don't you talk about your project?
My project is about Breonna Taylor, and I sewed a doll about her, and I just want everyone to know that Breonna had a life, and that was not meant to be killed, and she was meant to be here in a way. So I want everybody to know it was not right for them to do that, just to break in her home without any kind of identification or anything.
Okay. And how did you create this doll? What did you use?
I use a needle, thread, fabric, and a Sharpie.
And a Sharpie. Okay. And what did you use use the Sharpie for?
I used a Sharpie to write what she was work as, an EMT worker, was work as an emergency technician.
Mm-hmm. Okay, awesome. So this is the Breonna Taylor doll that was a part of your final project. Very good job indeed. While I have this particular slide up, let's go to Draper. Draper, have you worked on your sound? Are you good to go on your sound now? Okay. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your Playground newsletter?
My play.
Tell us what you decided to do with your Playground newsletter.
I said no.
Yeah. I think we're still having audio issues with Draper. Whenever he starts to talk, the sound goes away.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now, yeah. I think you're muting yourself by mistake. So tell us what's going on in your Playground newsletter.
That when Jerome was playing police officers, the police came to shot him.
Okay. And so why did you decide to create your newsletter based upon this theme that was in the book? How did it make you feel when you read that in the book?
It made me feel sad because Jerome was shot by the police.
Okay. And what do you want the message to be to everyone? What do you want people to learn from your newsletter?
I want people to learn that from a newsletter that never play with toy guns.
Never play with toy guns? Yeah, we have to be careful because we don't know how that's going to be interpreted. That's correct. That's right. I just want everyone to know that Draper is our youngest participant. And Draper, you want to tell him how old you are?
I'm 9.
He's 9 years old. Now, were you 9 when we started this?
No, man, I was 8.
Yeah, he was 8 when we started this, and he read the book and he was able to pull together a really cute newsletter with the help of his family, his auntie. So you did a great job, Draper. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, sweetie. All right. And so there's a couple of more pictures that we'll show a little bit later on. But, you know, as you all think about what you pull together as far as these projects are concerned, you know, what's the one thing that you want people to understand, especially now that we're getting ready to go into a new year and there's been so much that's happened in 2020. When you read a book like Ghost Boys and it deals with so many different types of themes, what do you want people to understand about why it's important for us to be unified in America? What do you want people to know? Okay.
Because we have all equal rights and we have to have equal rights for all of us, even if one person is different than another. That doesn't mean that you change the right from one person.
She said a mouthful. That's exactly right. You all remember what we talked about when we were comparing equity to equality? You remember what we talked about? Can anyone explain that for us? What was the difference? Do you remember when we saw the photo, the picture?
You'd rather everybody be equal than somebody be left out.
Okay. All right. Does everybody agree with her?
Yes, sir.
Pretty much. And so what does equal mean to you?
Equal means to me that everyone comes together and it's not one person out, it's just everyone, like basically a household full of people and they're equal together.
Okay. Does anyone else want to share what their thoughts are on equality and versus equity? Do you remember the picture that we all looked at when there was 3 people who were standing on boxes and they were trying to watch a game. So everyone had an equal opportunity to watch the game, right? Yes, but what was the problem with what was provided them in terms of the opportunity?
There was only one box, I'm pretty sure.
Well, there were 3 boxes, but remember what was going on with the...
But one person didn't have a box to stand on.
Or the box wasn't tall enough for them to see what they needed to see. You guys remember that? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So basically, it's in terms of that particular theme, what we're saying is that everyone is given the opportunity to do certain things or, you know, to, I guess, experience certain things in life, but we don't always have equity in those opportunities. So we have to work towards that. And we see a lot of that happening in today's society as well. Correct? All right. So I think that you guys learned a lot during the study of Ghost Boys, and you definitely created some amazing projects. And I just want to thank you on behalf of all of the mentors and the sponsors for being a part of this program. Are you ready for the next book? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, all right. Well, if you have some ideas on what you'd like for us to study, just let us know. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So now we're getting ready to roll out so that we can let the second group come in, and you guys have a good night. Remember what you're supposed to do. Stay safe, stay masked up. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye.
Okay, so definitely a really sharp group of young people, with lots of insight on some of the things that are going on in America. And we really do appreciate all of them being a part of it. I see Madison and, so Madison and Morgan, are you guys good now?
I think so.
Okay, all right. So as we're trying to bring in the second group, I'm going to go ahead and show your video, but tell me, what was the inspiration behind you putting together your video?
Just we wanted to show the day-to-day basis, or the lives of African Americans on a day-to-day basis, and the struggles. And usually in school we don't really talk much about police brutality. It's mostly on slavery and segregation. So we just wanted to share this.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm going to roll your video now. Okay, hold on just a second.
Hi, I'm Madison Gunn.
And I'm Morgan Gunn.
And this is our Ghost Boys project.
We created a fictional comic strip based off of police brutality. The two main characters in this comic strip are Brent and TJ.
Scene 1.
In scene 1, TJ and Brent come home from school to see another victim of police brutality on the news. Brent proceeds to say, "Wow, how many more black males does it take for this to stop?"
Scene 2. Later that afternoon, TJ checks his phone and sees there will be a protest tomorrow at 6 p.m. downtown in their area for Jerome and other victims of police brutality.
Scene 3.
TJ and Brent start making signs for themselves and some extra to pass out. Black Lives Matter. Justice for Jerome. We need change now. No justice, no peace.
Scene 4. The next day, Brent and TJ drive to the protest. They're a little nervous but glad they can be a part of a movement so huge to make a difference and stand up for something so important to them and what they believe.
Scene 5.
Brent and TJ have gotten out the car and have been marching for about 30 minutes. Then TJ hears someone yelling, "Fire! The police station's on fire!"
Scene 6. Brent turns around to see Miss Linda, the local news broadcaster, with her microphone and camera crew. She asked me to answer a few questions like how I feel, and I told her that I felt very angry and eager for change.
Scene 7.
More and more police officers start to show up before things get more violent, and after 2.5 hours of protesting, Brent and TJ decided that the smartest decision was to leave and get home safely.
Scene 8. Once they get home, they start to reflect on the day and what they've experienced. After talking for about an hour, Brent concludes to say, "All lives can't matter until Black Lives Matter."
That was awesome. Awesome. Thank you. It was a great presentation. And so who was responsible for the artwork?
I did the artwork.
Okay, you did the pictures and you shared the voiceovers?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
All right. So I have a pretty serious question for you because you two are probably the oldest ones that are representing tonight. How do you feel whenever you hear someone try to dispute all lives matter? Since your project was centered around that particular theme.
I feel as though they use it as a rebuttal against our protest, Black Lives Matter. So it's just, I think it's very like headbutting, and it's just a protest against our protest.
So what do you want people to know about, what your protest is all about?
Obviously that Black Lives Matter is like just what it is, and all lives can't matter until Black Lives Matter, and Black lives are just as important as every other life.
So what would be your main message to everyone as you think about what needs to happen in order to unite communities so that we have a better understanding of one another?
Do you want to answer? Okay. Just to come together as a community and just treat everyone how you want to be treated and always stand up for what you believe and what you know is right.
I think that's a pretty bold and accurate statement, very much so. So I do appreciate you all being with us tonight, and it was a great project. Are you ready for the next?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Well, thank you so much, and we hope that you have a good night. Stay tuned and watch everyone else as they do their projects as well, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you. Have a
Thank
good
you.
one.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, so before we go into the next group, we're going to take a really short break, and then we'll come right back.
Ghost Boys is about a young man named Jerome who's playing with a toy gun one winter day, and the policemen suspect that it's a real gun, and they roll up onto the playground and they shoot him, and he bleeds out and dies. But that's just the beginning, because Jerome doesn't disappear. He remains on Earth as a ghost, and he's met by another ghost, Emmett Till, another young black boy who was murdered in America in the 1950s. And Emmett Till, with Jerome, says, "You're here to do something. You're here to bear witness. You're here to help make a difference in the world." And they actually encounter Sarah. And Sarah is the policeman's daughter, the young girl who knows that her father did something terribly wrong, but doesn't know what to do about it. And Jerome and Emmett tell Sarah their stories. And Sarah becomes an activist, a person who becomes part of the change to make the world a better place. She becomes a fighter against racism, against prejudice, against bias. She becomes a fighter for social justice. And Jerome and Emmett, they disappear, wandering the streets until they meet another soul that's open to the idea that they have the power to change, to consider people by the content of their character and not by the color of their skin.
Hello, everyone. How are you this evening? All right. Yeah, everybody. Okay, unmuted. Michael, looks like you're still muted. All right. So how's everybody doing?
We're doing good.
All right. It's so good to see everyone again. Yeah, really good. So, of course, I want you to just kind of introduce yourself and tell everyone how old you are. So we'll start with Adrian.
Hi, I'm Adrian Sands.
I can't hear you.
I'm Adrian Sands, and I'm 16.
Okay. Michael?
Hi, my name is Michael Butler. I am 11 years old.
All right. Riley?
Hi, I'm Riley, and I'm 13 years old.
Awesome. And then we have the Platts.
Hi, I'm Skylar, and I'm 11 years old.
My name is Jacob, and I'm 10 years old.
My name is and I'm 11 years old.
Okay. And if you haven't guessed by now, and it's probably hard to because they're not identical twins, they're fraternal twins, but Skylar and Jacob are twins. And yeah, and I know that's amazing. Look at Jacob is so serious.
Me and Quincy.
You and Quincy are twins. Well, I thought Quincy was 10 and you 11.
I'm 10. They're 11.
I got see how I tell you, it's all y'all just got me all confused tonight. That's what twins do, though, right?
Yeah.
Basically. All right. So thank you for being with us again tonight. We really do appreciate it. So of course you saw the first segment with all of the other participants from the Ghost Boys summer reading program. How did you like the summer reading program?
We really liked it. It was a good opportunity to read about our heritage.
Okay. All right. Riley, what'd you feel about it?
I liked it because it gave me a new perspective on the what's going on today. And I got to read a lot about fiction, but also how it applies into real life situations.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. How about you, Michael? How do you feel about it?
It was a good book. It explained something that still happened today.
Absolutely. And you all put together some really good projects as well. And we're going to show everybody your projects. So of course you heard the questions that I asked everyone in the first group. And I want to ask you all sort of the same questions, as you were thinking about some of the themes that we discussed and that we studied in the book. What were some of your thoughts on what needs to change in our society? Does anyone want to tackle that?
I'll tackle it.
I knew you would tackle it.
One of the themes that I picked out with reading the book was that we need to figure out a way to create change. And when it comes to our generation, it's key for us to do that, because if not, then we're taking 10 steps backwards instead of moving forward. And if we're continuing to take 10 steps backwards, we're going to continue to repeat history as well.
And you're absolutely right. You made my point from earlier, and I don't even have to say it this time because you are absolutely on point. Riley, how do you feel about what Adrian just said?
I feel that it's right because most of the book was talking about empathy and change and how you have to work forward instead of working backwards. Because as our society, we need to speak up about the problems going on, and our generation needs to start working with that. And if we don't, then we're just going to keep on going backwards and not making any change into the future.
And you're right about that. So we've got a lot that we can process from the past that should help us navigate the future and do things in better ways. And so as you think about some of the things that you all learned from the book, or, just think about the storyline in general, the character Sarah that the author talked about in that video piece that I ran right before you all came on, she talked about some of the things that Sarah wanted to do in order to make sure that social justice was prevalent. And, as you think about what Sarah's situation was, why was it so difficult for Sarah to actually create a movement? What was her situation? I think
it was so difficult for Sarah to create a movement. It's because she couldn't really see that her dad did something wrong because it was her dad and she was in a biased point of view. But she knew what he was doing was wrong because it was like discriminatory. But she couldn't see that because it was her dad. And when she finally got to speak up about the issues, she finally got to speak up about it because she could confront the people that she knew and she could get support on it.
Exactly. How do you all feel about that? I know one of you, I know Adrian agrees. What about you, Michael?
I feel the same way. She was biased, and because it was her father.
Yeah, and she had to deal with that. She just had to deal with the fact that there were some biases that were present and that they were coming from an immediate family member, namely her father. And so, but why does she know that things needed to change? What were some of the things that she experienced and what was going on in the book that made her know that things needed to change? Try to talk about it without giving it away.
Her encounters with the people that she met.
Exactly. That's good, Adrian. Her encounters with the people that she met. That's right. And so have any of you been in that kind of a situation where you knew that what you were encountering wasn't right and you knew you needed to make a change or to, kind of create a change? How did you approach it? What did you decide you would do? And if you haven't encountered it, what would you do in that situation?
I think in a situation like that, I would speak up because I have a voice and I have the way to talk up to other people. And if they're going to like maybe try to silence me or try to take away the voice that I have, I would speak up about the issues that we're having because they shouldn't be silenced just because like they're different or just because like someone lied or they're more privileged. It doesn't matter. Everyone should have a voice and everyone should have a right to speak on what they believe.
And I agree. Do you all agree with what Riley's saying? Yeah, pretty much. Skylar, so, what are some of your thoughts? Because you had some very strong thoughts about some of the themes in the book.
If I was in that situation, I would sit down and think. And then I would have to put my output out there because I need to change what other people think if what I think is right.
And that's a part of our commitment and our responsibility in society, that if we see things that aren't right and we feel that there's a need for change, we have to do what we can to help that change come about, right? Even Gandhi said, be the change that you wish to see in the world. So we learned a lot about that in the book. And there were themes, like I said earlier: violence, bullying, racial injustice. We learned a lot about Emmett Till and what was going on in his life and times. And we also learned that some of the things that were present in that book are very much present today. And so that's why we all need to change. And we need to work towards changes. So I want to show some of your projects now. And what I'm going to do is just kind of pull them up on the screen. And then if you will, tell us what inspired you to create the final project for the program. I think that our viewers would appreciate knowing what actually moved you, your thinking and your feelings towards what you were able to create for this particular part of our program. So I'm going to start with Jacob. You created the Blue Robin newsletter. Tell us about the Blue Robin newsletter.
What inspired me is Black people in general, young Black people, were facing police brutality or brutality from other people, and it's not right. So I talked about how Jerome in the book faced police brutality and how other young Black people like Emmett Till faced brutality, but it wasn't by police. It was just brutality from another person.
From another person. Why did you name it the Blue Robin?
Well, I like blue robins, like the birds, so I applied it to my newspaper.
Okay. And I love the name. Are you planning to make this a real newspaper one day?
That's the plan.
Oh. He said that with such confidence. I love it. And I would definitely be a subscriber and an advertiser. How about that? Sounds good. You're going to need subscriptions and advertisement to make your paper happen. Okay. That's really good. So good job, Jacob, on that. And then I now want to show Riley's sketch, which was incredible as well. So Riley, why don't you tell us what inspired you to create this sketch of Breonna Taylor?
What inspired me to create the sketch of Breonna Taylor was when I read the book about Ghost Boys, I realized that Emmett and Breonna, they both went through something pretty similar, where they were wrongfully killed just because of a miscommunication. And we believe that change has happened over the years, but if something from, I don't know, like 100 years ago can happen, but something from the present day can happen, which is very similar to what happened back then not much change has been made at all. And I want to elaborate on how we need to step forward and put change into the future. And if we don't put that foot forward and start to work on the future and the change that we can make, then we won't make any progress and it'll just be all for nothing.
You're absolutely right. You're an excellent communicator, by the way. You said that poignantly. There's absolutely nothing I could say to follow up that other than, you really absorbed the book and you thought about some of the central themes, as all of you did. I mean, I think it shows in your work and also in the level of discussion that we're having tonight and discussions that we've had before. I thought it was pretty interesting that you have Breonna Taylor holding a picture of Emmett Till. Why did you decide to depict it in that way?
Because Emmett Till was a past victim, and I feel like Breonna, she could kind of like hold Emmett Till's what he went through and relate to him in a way, because they both went through something pretty similar. And by holding Emmett Till, she would kind of signify that they both had a connection in a way, even though they may have not known each other, like in a past photo.
Yes, that's an absolutely incredible perception and wonderful art. You're definitely an artist. So thank you so much for pulling that together. And we were excited to receive that, as well as that Blue Robin newsletter and all of these other projects that I'm about to show you. So Michael, why don't you tell us a little bit about your cartoon?
So I made
Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
So I made a comic strip on bullying because bullying was one of the themes of the book.
Okay, so tell us what's happening in your cartoon.
That isn't my cartoon.
Hold on, that's Malia's. Hold on, hold on just a second. I apologize for that. All right, it's on the same slide. Okay, there we go. We should have the right one now.
I can't see it.
Hold on just a sec. Okay, now you should be able to see it.
All right, in my comic strip, the boy is asking, or not, like bullying him and taking everything he has, and there's eyewitnesses who are standing up for the boy who's getting bullied.
And so ultimately, what is the advice that you are giving everyone through this comic strip? What should they do if they encounter bullying?
That you should stand up for people who are getting bullied.
You should stand up for people who are getting bullied. And in this particular comic strip, they eventually tell the principal, right? So you shouldn't be afraid to, go to your parents or to some of the teachers or administrators, especially if you're encountering it at school. Isn't that part of what your message is as well?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So you did an excellent job. Who did you do all of the graphics?
No, my uncle helped me with.
Yeah, your uncle helped you with it. Okay, well, I think that's great that you had a family member helping you to make your ideas come to life. So you did a really good job on that.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Okay. All right. And so we've seen Michael's project, and now I'm going to pull up Adrian's project. So bear with me just a second. There's a lot of toggling and all this good stuff here. And Adrian, I want you to tell us a little bit about what inspired you to do what you did with your PowerPoint.
So with my PowerPoint, when it comes to the picture aspect, I took both my experiences, because I've been in protests before, to help share. Even if you haven't been there, you can still see the impact that people have on what's going on around the world. So I really wanted to focus on that in my project.
Absolutely. So how did these images make you feel as you were trying to decide which ones you would include?
It made me feel good, because it let me know that even though we hear it in the news, that you can still tell that people are passionate about talking about the matters that are taking place out of the world. So it's not just the one country's focused on what's going on. It's the whole world impacted by it, because it's impacting everybody else.
Exactly. So the choices that we make, they all impact everyone, not just the individual. And I think sometimes we get away from that whenever we think that we're, choosing a side or trying to create a change or a movement, and we haven't really thought about the overall impact and how it affects everyone, because I don't think that anyone can exist alone in this world. There's somebody that's going to be impacted by a choice that you make, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And with a lot of the themes that we dealt with in the book, let's take bullying, for example. Carlos was bullied and Jerome was bullied. And how did that impact their home life, or how they even related to one another? There was themes of racism and social injustice, and, how did it affect everyone that was around them? And so, yeah, we have to be careful about our choices and make sure that we're thinking about everyone as a whole, and not just what our individual thoughts are or needs are at the time. So you're right. And a lot of these protests are just all about that, just kind of creating awareness of the things that need to change. So good job with that, Adrian.
Thank you.
All right. And so let's see, we have Skylar. I'm going to pull your project up. So why don't you tell us a little bit about why you were inspired to create your PowerPoint?
I love presentations. They're used in businesses. They're used to pitch ideas. So why not use it to show my feelings on what's going on right now?
Okay, so your presentation was What Gives. And so just kind of give us a summary of some of the things that we're seeing and what you were trying to convey with your presentation.
That as kids and just Black people in general, we're treated differently than other people, really just because of how dark our skin is, and that isn't right. We should be able to stand up and say, this isn't right. We should be treated just like anyone else is in this world.
And so you have some pretty compelling information in this presentation. You even featured Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Why did you decide to feature her?
Ruth Bader Ginsburg was very big. She was a Supreme Court justice, and she stood up for what she believed in with her time. And I didn't know a lot about her before her death recently. And I just wanted to look into her and see what she was about and what she stood for as a Supreme Court justice.
Okay. All right. So as you pulled together your project, and you obviously did a lot of research and you studied, and it appears that you had a couple of different types of mottos and things that we've heard over the past few months. That I can't breathe, we know where that came from. And I dissent, of course, that relates to RBG, and some of the other things that you portrayed in your project. And you talked about how as Black people, and especially young Black people, there's a lot that you go through, and I don't think people really understand that even at your age, you're taking in this information and you're trying to filter through this information to figure out how to navigate life. So as you were taking in this information, what were some of the things that you felt you needed to do in order to make a change? And anybody can answer that. As you were taking in all this information from the book and all of your research, what are some things that you want to do to make a change?
I felt like I just needed to put what I thought out there, because it does matter. And even if people say, you think this doesn't matter, it does. It changes people's minds. And what you say could affect how somebody votes, what somebody thinks about themselves. So what you say really does matter when you put it out there.
That's absolutely right. Anyone else want to chime in?
You got to give your take, because everything matters.
That's right. In a nutshell.
It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. For example, if somebody says, you're ugly, your shoes are untied, your shirt looks just like the back of my shoe, it doesn't matter what they think. If you have high self-esteem, then you're good to go. It doesn't matter if they threaten you. It doesn't matter what they do. Everybody is equal and everybody is the same, no matter what skin color. Red, blue, orange, green, purple, it doesn't matter. Everybody's still the same.
Absolutely. Well said. Well said. It's all about that self-awareness and self-love, isn't it? That's what it's all about. Okay. All right. Anybody else want to chime in before I move to the next one? Y'all all agree? Everybody's good with that? All right. I tell you, the Platts are preaching tonight. So we have Quincy, your project. You want to kind of set us up and tell us what your project was all about before I bring it on the screen?
Yes, my project was about how Emmett Till was killed inside Mississippi by two white people named Milam and Bryant. So he was accused of flirting with the white woman in the shop and putting money inside her hand when he was giving it to her inside the first place. And so they came to his house that night and kidnapped him basically, took him to a shed and beat him severely, then took him to a river, ordered him to take off his clothes, tied a 75-pound cotton into him and shot him in the head and threw him into a river. And his mother, so a couple days later, authority wanted to bury his body quickly after they found it. And his mother said for them to actually keep his casket open so the entire world could see what they had done to Emmett Till.
And as you learn,
and what you could learn from this is that even if he was flirting with the woman inside the first place, people can have family, friends of any color. It doesn't even matter. And I know good well he wasn't flirting with her, but they thought it was so bad, all because he was black instead of white. If whites can marry another white person, then why can't blacks do it too? If whites could eat inside a restaurant, like inside the restaurant where it's clean and the food is served well, why can't blacks? Why did they have to eat inside of the back of the restaurant? If everybody can do this thing, why can't you do it too?
Does it surprise you all when you hear stories from your moms and your grandparents about the fact that these things did happen, that they aren't just written in the history book as a sensational story or an idea? Are you surprised when you hear these stories?
You would think that this type of stuff wouldn't happen, that, oh yeah, we're black, so what makes us different? Why would you treat us like this? And then you hear it, you see it in the history books, you hear about the experience, and you're like, what? Why?
Mm-hmm. Adrian, you were kind of like, so what's your feeling on that?
I'm kind of 50-50 on it, because based on what we learn in school and what they tell us, sometimes it's like, oh, okay. And I do have to agree with her about what she said. But in some cases, it's kind of, you have to take a step back and realize that back then it was sort of, I don't want to say expected, but it kind of was for whites to treat blacks or other people of color that way. So it's, I don't know, it's kind of a 50-50 question.
And this is a pretty heavy topic for young people your age. And as you kind of, I guess, decompress from all of this and try to filter through all of this information in this discussion, and as you're, thinking about what's happening in America right now, what do you think is the one thing that people need to be aware of and mindful of as we move into the future? What's the thing that we definitely need to make sure happens, no matter who is elected, no matter what we face tomorrow? What do we as people need to do to make sure that these types of things don't happen again?
One, we have to vote. That is absolutely necessary. We control who goes into office and who doesn't.
Exactly, because only the right vote can help us. And right now, that is Joe Biden and Jamie Harrison, because they'll be able to help us at least get out of coronavirus at least a little bit. But with the person that we have in office right now, he's not doing half nothing. He claims that he's doing these things or that he will do these things, but he hasn't done anything. And then he calls everybody fake who says this stuff about him, but really they're actually saying what's true.
That's a pretty strong perception, considering that you're not even a voting age. That's very interesting. Does anybody else want to add anything about what we all need to do in order to make sure that there's change in America?
Regardless of who gets elected into office, we have to make sure that we're not going to let our heads and cause violence. That's also one of the reasons as to why we're taking steps backwards, because of the violence. So we have to make sure, Americans, that we keep our composure, I guess you get, when it comes to who becomes president and who gets elected.
All right. Okay. Very good. Well, the reason why I asked you that question is because I definitely want our viewers to understand that, you know, even though we all studied Ghost Boys as a summer literacy project, we were definitely in awe of all of the participants in this program, because it reminded us as we were listening to their insights and having these discussions with them and reading through their projects, we were reminded that our children are watching everything. They're watching our examples or our lack of examples. They are listening to the conversations, whether we're having them with them or they're seeing it on TV or they're reading it on social media, whatever. And so we have to be responsible with the information that we put out. We have to be responsible with how we approach these issues and how we deal with one another. We have to be very responsible as a people that, to remind one another that we are living in this world together. And all of the themes that we tackled in Ghost Boys were a clear reminder that if we don't pay attention to what's happened in the past, we're bound to repeat some of those same mistakes. And so, I hope that all of you found it very interesting that at such a young age, these scholars, as we've named them, they do have a voice. And hopefully some of the great things that we've heard from them will resonate high and will actually turn into what we need for the future, which are, strong, positive leaders who will take us into a very wonderful place in America, a place where there is unity and there is equity and there is social harmony and racial harmony. And I think that all of them have the right idea about what needs to be done. And so, we definitely had diversity in the group. We had scholars from all walks of life in our group, and we just chose a small segment of them tonight. Well, we actually asked who wanted to be a part and, included them in tonight's discussion. And I say that you've done an awesome job, all of you, of expressing yourself, of showing us what's in your heart and what's in your minds. And also just kind of giving us a glimpse into how you think and what you want people to know about how all of our choices are affecting you. Okay. And so with that being said, I just want to thank all of you for kind of hanging out with me tonight. And I hope you all are looking forward to the next book. Are you? Do you have any idea? Riley's like, yeah. I'm looking forward to, more dialogue with the Platts and with Adrian. I'm looking forward to more cartoons or comic strips from Michael. And I'm definitely looking forward to more art from Riley. So I really do appreciate all of you being here with me tonight. And so I'm going to take a really short commercial break, and then I'm going to ask Brother Edward to come back and join me as we close out this show for tonight. So thank you guys a whole lot, and we really do appreciate it. And we'll definitely include you in the next program, okay? All right, take care. So proud of you. Thank you so much. All right, and I will be right back. Do you need to complete your diploma or get your GED? Stop putting your future on hold. Contact the Horry County Adult Education Centers today. With 2 offices in Conway and Myrtle Beach, you'll be well on your way to a new career. Conway Education Center is at 843-488-6200, or the Myrtle Beach Family Learning Center is at 843-839-5400. You can also visit the website at hcae.horrycountyschools.net. Heating unit not working? Need answers right away? Call Quick Services Heating and Air Conditioning for comfort in a hurry. Quick Services Heating and Air LLC is the right choice for you. Call Kenya and Nina Keith at 843-488-1492. Residential or commercial financing available. You can also visit their website at www.quickserviceshvac.com. That's KWIK serviceshvac.com. Quick Services Heating and Air LLC, the right choice for you. Serving Horry County for over 79 years, Palmetto Chevrolet in downtown Conway has just what you need to find new roads. Come through and browse, make your selection, and find new roads right away. Palmetto Chevrolet, 1122 4th Avenue, downtown Conway. You can also visit palmettochevrolet.com or call the service center at 843-248-4283. Palmetto Chevrolet, find new roads. Matthew and Beatrice Rue left a rich legacy of funeral home services in the capable hands of Atu and Tammy Williams. Ocean View Funeral Homes and Cremation Services with 2 chapels serving the Horry County area. They offer full-service funeral and cremation services with no hidden fees. Call for details. The Conway Chapel is 843-248-5376. The Myrtle Beach Chapel is 843-916-8929. They offer affordable, professional, and caring full-service packages. Ocean View Funeral Homes and Cremation Services.
Oh man, we are back. We are back. Oh, look at that. I'm just mesmerized. All that talent, man. Now, again, it's just so many people to thank, April, that we could go on all night for that. But just let me say that I just want to thank the participants, and we'll let the audience know that there was I don't want to call it compensation, but there were rewards and certificates that were given to them, or they haven't gotten them yet. And hopefully it was not sufficient, but well thought about from them, and we know that they appreciate of the awards that we and monetary awards that we gave out, the monetary gift and certificate. That's what it amounted to. Just let me say that. I'm going to say it on the air right now. That I thank you, April. Thank you so much for your skill that you displayed with the children. I got to admit, that's where my deficiency is. I mean, if you had some formulas up there, some math numbers, and I could deal with that. But when I'm talking with the young people like that at that age, okay, talking with adults is a different thing. But with that age, and I got to commend you with your skill on that, and I'm sure I'll let the audience know right away. Appreciate you very, very much. And having said that, I wanted to say that before it slipped my mind, the young man, I'm not singling him out more than anybody else, but the young man, first of all, everybody should get an A. If I had to score,
they all received A's. There was nothing less than an A in the group. A pluses. A pluses,
man.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Our audience, I hope you all feel the same way. The young man, Jacob Platt, who, if he could contact me afterwards, I certainly want to get him involved since he has a newsletter. Yeah, I certainly want to start with him right now, and just have him as an observatory or with the magazine, and see if we can utilize him in some way or the other. Like you've got an intern on yours, on the network. I certainly could appreciate him, even at that age, because that's where we're going to start from. So,
yeah, we've had young contributors before. Remember, we had Mr. Pickett and all that. So it'd be great to have the young people to exercise their journalistic skills. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Just give me a call, area code 202-460-4444. 1390, and we can talk. Okay. The other thing I wanted to say, to just extend the maximum appreciation to our donors who helped to make this possible, with dispensing gift certificates and monetary gifts. Okay. I said earlier that this should be extended into next year, and I'm going to try my very best to be more of an integral part of this, to make sure that this can happen, and we can, and in addition to the summer jobs program. Okay. We can do it. This is our neighborhood. This is our future that we're talking about. So we have to make sacrifices, and sacrifices have to be made. They have to come from us adults. Okay. So, and to our donors, I just hope that you felt that your investment into this program, that you're satisfied with your investment. I hope your rate of return should be considered very valuable. Okay. And hope you look at it as an abundance rate of return. So in retrospect, you can look back and say, and say to yourself, I had something to do with the nurturing of this product. When I say this, it's a group. Okay. So again, I just want to thank everybody so much, and thank you for participating on the Whittemore Community Magazine live streaming. We're always here for you. When you have your community activities that you want to share with the rest of the world, okay? Because we're live streaming and we're worldwide. We certainly want to have you there. And if you have any upcoming events that you want to share with in the upcoming weeks, please get in contact with us and let us know. You can go to wcmagazine.net. Okay. So April, again, thank you so much. As usual.
It was my pleasure to hang out with our scholars tonight.
I know,
and
of course, it's always your pleasure.
it was our pleasure, and definitely to the mentors for the program. I had a ball, so it was really good.
I can tell you did. I can tell you did, and I'm just I'm really filled up right now after seeing all that talent. Just our youth. And just in that age group, those who
being so insightful. They're definitely paying attention.
Right.
They're paying attention. Mm-hmm.
And we welcome you back next year as early as possible, as soon as we can come up with a date, a time that we want to start again. And we're going to be rewarded with as much as we can to keep you all going. Okay. So April.
All right.
It's 8:33 now. 8:30.
Yep. Time to wrap it up.
Yeah.
And everyone get out tomorrow and vote. If you have not already voted, tomorrow is the big day. Make it count.
Yes, indeed. So
your vote counts.
Every bit counts. The line was wrapped around the poll building today in Conway.
Mm-hmm.
Guess where it was? It was all the way down at the Coast RTA.
Woo! That beats Saturday. Saturday, it was wrapped around that building 3 times, and I thought they were going to cross the street and go get some fish sandwiches from the fish market, but to eat lunch and standing in line for so long. But it's incredible. I don't think I've ever seen voter turnout like this ever. So I'm glad everybody's just voicing, put their vote counts. Everybody's votes counts.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's democracy.
Yep,
and it's working. Whether your ideas have been voted upon or not, it's just the respect that we should garner from being able to vote,
mm-hmm.
and silently voicing our selection and who we want to represent us and so forth. So hopefully there'll be some harmonious results and harmonious gathering after the results have been said about, and tension should be subsided by then, hopefully. And having said that, April, we'll see you next week.
Absolutely. Make sure you vote. Make sure you mask up when you vote. Mask up and practice social distancing. Be safe. Peaceful voting.
To our viewers, we certainly appreciate you viewing. Really, really appreciate it today.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right. God bless.